Hey, what's going on, guys? My name is Dan. I love hiking and backpacking and gear. If you guys love that stuff too, would you just consider subscribing to the channel? Last week, I posted a video just mentioning that it was going to be my very first Q&A coming up, which is today. And I asked a lot of you guys just to post some questions. I kind of figured people had a lot of questions, and I kind of came out of left field. I started my channel back in the middle of November of last year, and it's kind of grown pretty rapidly. And then I could just kind of go through them and hopefully give you guys a little bit more insight onto me, maybe a little bit more personally on me, and then also into the channel. So without further ado, we're just going to get right into the questions that you guys were asking. Shifting Gears says, "Love your energy, mate." Do I need to say that in like an English accent? Love your energy, mate. What editing software do you use for your vids? I actually just use Adobe Premiere. The first few videos that I did on the channel were just through iMovie. Matter of fact, probably the first 20 videos or so were done on iMovie. So then I just switched over to Adobe Premiere because I felt a little bit limited on some of the stuff I wanted to do. So that's what I use. Here's a question that I got asked a ton. The Adventures of Eli asks, "What do you do for a day job? Are you a stay-at-home dad? I mean, where does all this free time come from making all these videos and such?" Great question. I do have a full-time job. I'm not a stay-at-home dad. I know it looks like I have a ton of free time because I'm posting once a week. I don't. I actually have very, very limited free time, and that's why I'm back up in my home studio. I'd much rather be out in the woods somewhere talking to you guys so you could have some epic landscapes or, you know, something better than a shelf to look at behind me. But my day job is I actually own an insurance agency. So I am an insurance agent by day. Bethany Jensen asks, "Hey Dan, where do you keep your gear when you're not hiking, and how do you store and organize it? Do you use any of your backpacking stuff at home?" Great question. Mainly in these bins right behind me is where I store the majority of my gear. I also keep a ton of gear in a closet. That's where I hang up all my quilts. Let me know if you guys would be interested in maybe a video just kind of showing you how I organize the gear, kind of where I put it and that kind of stuff, and maybe kind of walk you through some of that stuff, or if that would just like bore you guys to death. But if you'd let me know down in the comments if that'd be a video you'd want to see, I'll definitely put one together for you. Mark Postma? Mark, I'm sorry if I butchered your last name. "Hey Dan, I'm curious to know what your biggest bucket list hike is. Cheers." I think honestly for me, I've always wanted to hike Glacier National Park. One of my favorite YouTubers of all time is David Gray. He has the most epic trip videos I've ever seen. He only posts a couple times a year, and he's just like me. He's like the weekend backpacker. So he's not a through hiker or anything like that. And he just loves to hike, and he's just got that personality you're drawn to. Anyway, he has hiked that location. I watched his video, and man, I just wish I would have been there with him. It just looks like such an epic place. I'll put a link to his channel right up in the cards so you can check that out yourself. And if you want to go give him a shout out and tell him Dan Becker would love to meet you and would love to hike with you, that'd be awesome. B Bikes Rule asks, "What state do you live in? How far do you travel to hike / backpack?" I actually live in Wisconsin. I live in the southeastern corner of Wisconsin, right between Milwaukee and Chicago, and I can get to a decent hike within just a couple hours. There's the Ice Age Trail, Kettle Moraine, near me, but then if I want to get some really nice hikes, I got to drive at least 6 hours up to maybe Pictured Rocks or Manistee River, or maybe the Hoosier National Forest or Shawnee National Forest, or even up to the Superior Hiking Trail. All that's within about a 6 to maybe 8 hour radius for me. So that's why you see a lot of Midwest hiking trips on my channel, but absolutely I would love to expand that. John K asks, "Hey Dan, how often do you take the family camping / backpacking?" Well, I put up 7 trip videos in the past 7 months, and I would say I think there's probably 2 or 3, maybe 4 of those are with my kids. So definitely quite a bit. My wife isn't really much of a backpacker. She's definitely gone with me before. She does have all the gear, and she's told me she wants to go again. We'll see if I can actually get her in a video, but yeah, I go with my kids mainly more than anything. Pat J61 asks, "Do you use an InReach?" Yes, I do. As a matter of fact, I just picked up the InReach Mini, and I used it for the first time on my last hike, and it was really useful. Loved being able to text my wife when I didn't have a cell phone signal and just kind of keep in communication with them, let them know where I was at, let them know I was safe. And then also it's nice to be able to have that comfort to know that you can push that SOS button if something does go south. So yes, I do use an inReach. Amy Rout asks, I hope it's not too late to ask a question. My question for you is, do you wish you had the same type of adventures that are in the Western U.S.? Since the West is best in everything, I'd like to know if I really do have it all out here or if I'm missing out on some super secret hidden land of amazingness over there. Amy, you do have it the best. The West, by far, is the best. I would love to be able to hike the places that you hike out there. I got like pine trees and cornfields out here, so like that's the epic scenery I get to show people. But absolutely, the West is on my bucket list. I have hiked Colorado. I have been to the Rocky Mountains and hiked in the Rocky Mountains in the past. I did that with my oldest son about 3 years ago. So yeah, I've been out there. I kind of know what it's like, but man, I'm definitely hoping to get out there soon. Shane Steinhem. Sorry, Shane, man, I don't mean to butcher your name. Hey, Dan, how do you pack your pack? Do you pack everything back into their own bags before stuffing them into backpack? Or is everything free and you just stuff into small spaces? I used to put the inflatable mattress, sleeping bag, and tent back into their individual bags until recently. Just curious of your technique. Keep up the great work. Shane, great question. I just did a video on this where I packed up all my gear before my Pictured Rocks trip. It was my last trip video, and I will link it for you right up here so you can check it out. It literally answers that exact question for you. Mike Ghost. Mike Ghost. That is like an epic name. What kind of food do you take? The add water to bag, or do you get creative? I am not a backcountry chef. I wish I was. I take Mountain House. That's like my go-to. Easy. I don't have to think about it. It always tastes good. Are there times when I will maybe get a little bit creative? I guess, if like mac and cheese is creative, but yeah, not too often. But I do get jealous of guys on the trail when I see them getting creative, that's for sure. All right, guys, I wanted to make this video not super long. I didn't want it to get super boring. I wasn't sure how you guys would really want to sit through a Q&A video, so just kind of a test run. I'll definitely have more videos like this. Listen, if you asked a question on that video that I posted last week, or if you asked a question on the Facebook page, I 100% will answer your question. So please make sure you go back and check the comments to that video, check the Facebook page, and you'll get the answer to your question. If you like this video, please make sure you hit that like button. Also, subscribe for more. Hit the bell notification so I can send you a video every time it's released. And I'll see you on the next one.